And we are live, but we're still trying to get the link out and let the people know that we are live. Okay.
Gotta love technology.
All right. We are. Let's do it. And I can get off of this with this, and we're going and we're grooving. What's up, Brad? You
Not
ready
too
for week
much.
15?
Yeah, as ready as I'm gonna be. Normally we like to do this a little later in the week so we can get some injury reports, but our schedules with holidays kind of push that up, and we're here to bring you that free content that you're all looking for.
Oh, yeah. The exclusive free content. A lot of people are doing free content these days, but the droppables are trying to bring you the exclusive free content like Brad Wire's offensive line rankings. They can only find the only offensive line rankings that are updated throughout the season. Break it down by offense and defensive line, offensive pass rush and run blocking. And also the only one that is that good. I mean, if you're not out there using Brad Wire's offensive line rankings found on theundroppables.com, I don't know what you're doing because they're amazing. They're really good. Brad does a great job of them. And if you go on Google out there, if you use Google as a search engine, I don't know if you guys have heard of Google as a search engine, but if you use it and you search offensive line rankings, you will come up with Brad's rankings pretty high up on the list. Was that fourth, Brad, that I saw the other day?
Yeah, I think it was fourth. PFF was first, but they do their big update at the beginning of the season. I think the last time they updated theirs was like July 29th, if I remember correctly.
Right. Preseason stuff coming into the season. Who they expect.
Yep. I know a couple of people do like weekly offensive line matchups, kind of like we're doing here. But as far as like true rankings, that's the ones that I've seen are more preseason stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, the way you break it down to, no one else does it like that. No one else, it doesn't look as good. It doesn't function as good. And they're the best in the biz right now. So go out there, check those out. And we are up and running. So how about we hit that intro and let's officially get this started, eh?
Let's do that. Hit the smoke.
Yeah. And we are back with another episode of Unsung Heroes with myself, Tommy Moe. You can find on Twitter at 2on1FFB and the king of O-line rankings, Brad Wire. Go follow him right now on Twitter at Brad Wire FF. And I just lost you, buddy. What happened? I love going live on StreamYard because all kinds of things happen. Like my co-host dropping out, and he's back, people.
I went to go open up the chat box, and I hit the wrong X.
Oh no!
All right,
that's back. What going live's about. It happens. You just roll with it, right?
We're back. We're back rolling,
and we're back. So we're back with week 15, the semifinals of the fantasy football playoffs. Small golf clap. Congratulations to you if you had that first week bye and got a cruise to week 2 of the playoffs. It's a brand new season. Or if you were scrappy and won that first round matchup and now you're here ready to take on the higher ranked teams in your division, in your fantasy football league. And we're here. Brad and I are back to bring you the offense and defensive line matchups and advantages for week 15. All that exclusively free fantasy football advice we're giving to you, presented by the Undroppables and produced by 2on1 Fantasy Sports. Also brought to you by Monkey Knife Fight. Before we go on, I want to make sure you guys know that if you use the promo code Monkey Knife Fight when you sign up, on Monkey Knife Fight. Use the promo code UND for Undroppables and get 100% match on your first deposit of a minimum $10 up to $50. And hit those prop bet games. It's the best new way to play fantasy sports. And follow the Undroppables on Twitter, because it sucks to suck. Because we're always in contention. The entire crew, we're always in contention. We're always going to win now, try to get that trophy. But we have some great fantasy analysts, some great dynasty guys, a lot of great free exclusive content besides Brad's awesome offensive line rankings. We have our injury tracker, our contract database. We got everything from redraft, the dynasty. We're going to have some great stuff coming to you guys in the offseason for prospects. Maybe a rookie draft guy coming out. Maybe. I think it'll be pretty good. And we're just going to keep it pushing. And we're going to keep our mission ahead. And we're going to keep team positivity going here at the Undroppables and focus on what we do best, bringing awesome content to you. Because sometimes it does get a little spicy out there, and sometimes, stuff happens. And as much as we're going to keep it positive and just keep promoting each other and doing really good work, every now and then I might just show up to your mansion and leave a steaming bag of poop that's on fire on your front doorstep. It's going to happen sometimes. But every other time, we're going to kick ass, and we're just going to do our thing. Brad, what's up, buddy? How to get through that intro for you?
Over here at the Undroppables, we've got everything from A to V, from Adam to Vivek.
Nice.
And that's what we're here to do. We're just here for the love of the game. And, sometimes you got to bring it back down to earth and get back to the fundamentals. And, just like some offensive linemen, stick your head down, bring your lunch pail, get to work. Blue collar guys that are just doing it for the love of the game, that want to do what's right. So on that note, we will get into obviously Tommy usually does the unsung hero intro, but so an unsung hero is someone who does great deeds but gets little to no recognition for them. In football, obviously, the linemen who battle in the trenches are those unsung heroes that make the biggest impact on the game. So week 14, some accountability here, because that's what we got to do.
Yep.
We got to look back at what we did, what our hits and misses were. So as far as my O-line advantages for last week, I had Tampa Bay. Rojo had 18 for 80, a fractured finger. And Tom Brady sat back there, slung it a little bit. 0 sacks given up once again. Alex Kappa, Ali Marpet, there was a tweet put out earlier that they have not allowed a single sack this whole year. So that's both the guards. Ryan Jensen has also been, playing really well. Tristan Wirfs has been a lot better. Smith, the left tackle, he's been a little bit of a turnstile, but he's fixed it up a little bit here as the season has gone on. My other advantage, though, this last week was the New York Giants. And I think we all know how that one went. We saw Daniel Jones in the dirt a little bit. We saw Colt McCoy in the dirt a little bit. I said Wayne Gallman might not be a bad play. He got a whopping 9 points. His one touchdown was vultured on a 1-yard run by Dion freaking Lewis. So that's just kind of the way the shit falls sometimes.
How it is sometimes. But we're accountable, right? And we're just going to talk about it, move on. But hey, some shit happens.
I do want to bring up Hassan Reddick because he made an absolute show last week. He had some fireworks in the backfield. He had 5 sacks, and this was one of the games where I figured that New York would continue their step forward up front, and they just did not. This was one of their worst games of the entire season. Hassan Reddick's first sack was against Matt Pert. He's the rookie. He's playing right tackle for a little bit. Cam Fleming's usually the normal right tackle, but he hit him with a patty cake. They kind of bopped hands, get him with a push pull and a little bit of a swim move there, and right into Daniel Jones' lap. His second one was against the other rookie, Andrew Thomas, and he's back to ducking his head when he punches. And as one of my old coaches always said, the eyes lead the body. So if you're ducking your head, obviously you can't see where Hassan Reddick's going, and it's into Daniel Jones. The other one, if Hassan Reddick didn't get him on that one, on the other side, they hit a beautiful TE stunt that would have gotten Jones in another split second. So, I mean, their line was getting smacked around pretty much all day. The other ones, I'm not even going to get into because they were just as bad. But Hassan Reddick, fire game, IDP 1-2-3 scoring. I think it was well over 50 points, which is one of the highest defensive games you can have. I like that scoring. It's just about as balanced as IDP can get. So onto that. What about your D-line matchups for last week? I know you had a few fire matchups last week.
Yep. We had last week I think we had Tampa Bay. Definitely picking on
New
that
Orleans,
thing.
and Washington.
6 sacks. Dalvin still, did his thing. It's hard really to really count out Dalvin. I mean, even in not a great matchup, that offense line isn't that amazing. And that defense line is so good. But, Dalvin's still going to do his thing with just over 100 rushing yards and a touchdown. And then New Orleans and Washington. I mean, Washington, it's like every week it's just Chase Young and Montez Sweat just absolutely dominating out there. And I mean, I joked about it like in our group chat, but like I'll almost put Washington as an advantage every single week. Their defense is phenomenal. That defense line is so good, and I feel sorry for any team that's going up against them. I mean, it's them, the Eagles and Pittsburgh and the Saints have just been consistent all year. They, whoever's top of the list has changed every single week. These guys are performing so well. But I just love watching, Montez and Chase go at it. And if you're, you don't have fear, as an offense lineman, right? When you're going out there, you're not worried about who you're going to go against because you have to perform. But I would be worried, if I see those two guys across from me, definitely going to hold my own. But it's not going to be a good day.
Chase Young looks like the freaking predator. I'd be scared of that all day.
Totally. Yeah. And then Montez, like, he's so tall, he's so fast. It's they're phenomenal unit. So I think I forgot what the tweet was, but the Saints had a strip sack, while Washington had one that went in for a touchdown.
They had 2 defensive touchdowns. I think one was a pick.
Yeah, that's right. So it was a good day from the defensive side. But I feel like sometimes my job's a little bit easier because I just pick these guys that are really awesome and then just watch them do their thing and almost expect them to do well. But hey, that's life of a defensive lineman.
That is what it is. Moving on here to week 15, we wanted to keep this one short. Again, without the injury reports, practice reports, I'll do a tweet later in the week on what I see as far as offensive linemen that are going down, maybe not being able to play, returning, etc. But as far as advantages overall in week 15, I was actually normally I have a tough time picking advantages. There's not usually a whole lot. This week there is a plethora of advantages, and it's tough to narrow it down.
Yeah.
So starting off, I have Indianapolis against Houston. Obviously, we know how that went 2 weeks ago. We have Tennessee against Detroit. Detroit's one of the worst rush defenses in the league. Green Bay against Carolina. Doesn't need explanation. Tampa Bay is going against Atlanta. Again, doesn't need an explanation.
Yep.
Cleveland versus the Giants. I mean, the Giants have been a little better in defense. Leonard Williams is he's having a pretty good season. He's got 8.5 sacks in the year, but again, it's Cleveland versus the Giants.
And as a reminder, I think last week you had not updated your rankings. Now they are updated on the website. So where do we have Cleveland right now?
Cleveland's been number 1 for a few weeks. I think we were talking about Tampa Bay last week with them bumping up, but I've had Cleveland at number 1. Let's see.
Those rankings
13,
are so good.
14. The last time I didn't have Cleveland number 1 was week 12. when I updated week 13, they bumped up to number 1. So that was like our first. That might have been our first stream that we did that.
Yeah, that's right.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
then Tampa Bay with you bumped up Tampa Bay, before I
Tampa
sent
Bay
you
is
that
number
tweet.
2, I think.
Yeah, about that tweet about the guards.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like it just shows, it's one, it shows how on top of it Brad is, and scouting these guys and ranking them appropriately and moving them, as they've gotten better. But you see something like that comes out, for someone else like PFF, talking about how their guards are 2 of the best in the league, haven't given up a sack all season. I mean, that's awesome, man. And yeah, go out there and bookmark those rankings from Brad, because they're phenomenal and a great tool to use when you're setting your lineups.
Yeah, you usually get those updated early-ish Saturday, early-ish Sunday. I try to get them out before we do those final tinkering updates on Sunday mornings.
Toilet tinker time.
I know that's the all-important tilt season.
Yeah.
The last unexplainable matchup that I had, though, is New Orleans against Kansas City. Kansas City's been one of the worst defenses against the run this year. So I don't think that one's necessarily need to be explained.
Yeah.
My actual advantages, though, and I know Tommy's going to mirror a few of these, but I'm going to start off with the Rams this week. The Jets against Seattle gave up 140 yards combined to Chris Carson and Carlos Hyde last week, averaging over about 5 yards of carry. I know yards per carry isn't a huge stat, but again, it's the Jets. Los Angeles is top 5 in adjusted line yards per carry this year. Even with the loss of Andrew Whitworth, Joseph Noteboom has moved over to left tackle and played pretty well. He was out for a little bit. He originally started at left guard, and when Whitworth went out, he bumped out to left tackle after his return. So with that, I'm starting Cam Akers over DeAndre Swift. There was a Twitter poll I posted earlier this week. I was in that same dilemma where he was just a regular Cam Akers versus DeAndre Swift, and DeAndre Swift has a really good matchup against Tennessee as well. But I got to roll with Cam because I think the game script is a little better with the Rams this week than it is with Detroit, especially without Stafford. One of the other Undroppables members pointed that Stafford might not even play this week. So definitely an advantage there up front with the Rams versus a not so stout Jets defensive line, especially without Greg Williams calling plays, being aggressive. So
make sure you hit that double G.
I think that's a little bit of what hurt them last week too. Is Greg Williams has that aggressive edge that he brings, and I think they lost that a little bit last week as well. So I think that carries over. Obviously, they know their season's over. It's winding down. They just don't have any more fight left in the dog. So.
Which is so funny, too, because I feel like that's one thing that Greg Williams, Brad Williams, totally different guy, short guy. Greg Williams, I feel like he tries to pride himself on that, that he brings that toughness, that intensity, the team feeds off him. But if the team's not buying in, it doesn't matter how intense you try to act or think or, say that's important. I'm not going to play.
At that point, it becomes a joke.
Oh, it's absolutely a joke. Yeah. Who's this guy? Especially the pro athletes as good as they are, and despite any of these teams not having great seasons, there's still great athletes out there. People forget that the team's doing so bad. They forget how good some of these guys are, and that's why this offseason too is going to be interesting, because with all the things that have happened this year, just with COVID injuries and all that, I'm real curious to see where some of these players, how low they're going to drop, especially for dynasty rankings, and who's going to be selling on someone that they regret, selling on someone this offseason, like January or February, that they regret, later on in October. But, with my defensive line matchup for this week, first one, like you said, we're going to hit on a lot of similar ones, and mine's the Rams as well. Jets offensive line is not good. Brad has them ranked all the way down at the bottom of his list at 31. Oh, and do I not? What do you have? Okay, I have
No.
rankings from December 12th.
Nope, those are right. It's 30.
Those are
it's
right.
31.
Okay, 31.
Yep.
He wants to say 32. That's how bad they are. He wants to say
They've
32. Subconsciously in his mind, he's thinking 32, but right now he does have him at 31 though. So, but that that offensive line is not good.
They alternate back and forth between 31 and 32.
Yeah, on any given week.
I got to
might
give
as well
them
be the same.
Yeah, I got to give them the nod at least now because the Bengals lost Jonah Williams and they still have Mekhi Becton.
Yes,
so
they do have the advantage. At least with a better offensive tackle, at least just for right now, based on injuries alone. But yeah, 29th in the league in adjusted sack rate, 88.5%, and 36 sacks on the year. So that Jets offensive line is not good, and the Rams defensive line is phenomenal. 6 overall in adjusted sack rate, 42 sacks on the year, powered by Aaron Donald, who, even if he's not getting sacks, is making a huge difference in the game. Great tweet I saw today. I think it was from a day or two ago by Jeff Schwartz. I love his breakdowns. Most of the time, I love his breakdowns. But he had a good one today of Aaron Donald grabbing the running back. I forgot which one it was.
Oh, on the screenplay?
Yes, on the screenplay, and not laying him out. I didn't see if that was Damian Harris or who was that. Anyway, doesn't matter. Grabbing the running back.
Cam was throwing it to a spot, and Aaron Donald grabbed him. That was the pick six. Big six, their first score. Yep.
And as a defensive tackle, I love that. I love just grabbing on to the running back because they can't do anything about it. It's a legal play, and it's such a bullshit thing because it totally ruins everything. But as a defensive lineman, I love it. And for Aaron, Aaron's thinking that way. If he's not going to make the actual sack, if he's not going to stop the play completely, how can he still disrupt it? And that was a great example.
How can he affect this certain play on offense?
Yep. And anyway, and we see it again with Montez Sweat jumping up, swatting balls, doing all kinds of stuff. But when I saw that, I was like, man, I love the Aaron Donald. So, great matchup this week with the Rams against the lowly Jets. The one I just want to throw one quick tweet out there that Minshew Brofist tweeted in response to another good tweet by Fantasy Football Commish, asks the FFC. Jets and their offensive line within the goal line, Goff's last 5 touchdown passes have all been 5 or fewer yards, except on a 7-yarder to Van Jefferson. So short passes in goal line situations, which doesn't bode exactly well for Cam Akers. I'm still firing up Cam Akers, but I do think it's something interesting to consider, especially if you have, some pretty decent other guys to choose from, and Cam is like your flex play, but I still like it.
Yeah, no, I think McVay is always trying to get cute up in the goal line, trying to make something that no one else has seen before. He's got to be the first one to do it. Yep. So I think this week he keeps it pretty vanilla. It's going to be a way positive game script, I think, for the Rams.
Yeah.
And they should lean on Cam. He got 29 carries last week. I think he'll be up in that 23, 26 range, something like that, and just grind it out. I think they will mix in, obviously, Henderson and Brown a little bit, but
have to.
Cam is going to dominate.
Cam's the guy. Yeah, Cam's the guy, and it's coming on hot at the right time. And here at the Droppables, we have all been on Cam. Cam, Jonathan Taylor, I mean, these guys are phenomenal, but we never doubted them once. No one wavered. Undroppables have always been on the guys like that. And to see Cam doing it right now is phenomenal. I had a really good point with my rant right now, but I kind of lost it. So I'm just going to pivot right back to you, Brad, and let me know who you got for your second matchup.
So my second matchup is might be a little bit of an oddity, but I mean, obviously, it goes with how bad Dallas has been. San Francisco, they got one of the earlier matchups on Sunday. I think Dallas is currently ranked 30th in adjusted line yards given up. San Francisco, on the other hand, is not doing as well in adjusted line yards. But if there's a game to get right, as I'll talk about a little later, This is it for them. They gotta get some stuff rolling here. Jeff Wilson's been featured quite a bit the last few weeks. McKinnon, I don't know what's up with McKinnon. They're just not featuring him as much anymore. We saw them get beat pretty handily last week against Washington, but I think this is a come out game. Get back to what they've been doing, what Shanahan's been known for, and they run the ball down Dallas's throat pretty much the whole game. So I'm firing up Jeff Wilson if I got him. I know there's probably not a whole lot of stashes out there. I got him in a few places, but that's one guy that I'm rolling out with confidence. If I even have, I would say he's a top 12 option for me this week.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, I like Jeff Wilson. I like that backfield. I just have a hard time trusting it personally.
It's tough with the running back by committee with Shanahan, but I think if Mostert's out of the picture, I think Jeff Wilson will be the overall main guy.
Yeah. I think he's a great DFS play too this week, especially with that offensive line advantage that you're talking about. They're right there at times. They look really good despite not having their team at full strength. Even that defensive line too does a really good job. It's just once they're back at full strength, it'll be great to see. And Ayuk we've talked about too. The Undroppables is coming on real hot and really taking over as the lead dog in that wide receiver core. And hopefully, did we get an update on Deebo Samuel if he's
Deebo? I think is done for the year.
For the whole year,
they're shutting him down. Speaking of injuries, Ben Garland was. I tweeted about this last week or 2 weeks ago in a reply, but Ben Garland is looking to be out for Week 15, and Shanahan, he's not confident on him returning, so that center position is going to be a little bit lacking. One thing that San Francisco has been good at is apparently pass protection. So, I mean, Dallas hasn't been great in the pass rush. So that's another advantage for me. I know McGlinchey's bad and Brunskill's not the best, but it should be a pretty clean game for San Francisco up front overall. Yeah,
top 10, 7th overall.
7th. I'm not sure how they're 7th, but I think it's more of them leaning on the ground and not having actually as many pass plays.
Yeah.
So, or their dump offs.
Yeah, let's see.
Are setting that up more than it actually should be.
Let's see. San Francisco, well, middle of the pack, 15th in pass attempts per game. So they're still getting it out a decent amount, even though. But they're quicker. They're quicker passes. Yep. Dump offs like you're talking. Yeah, and that's a lot of how Ayuk's targets have been coming to him. I remember what I was going to say about Cam Akers, subject of this week's under review. And you mentioned his was 29 touches or something. Yeah, I'm not going to do it the same way because he had a lot. It was a lot of volume. So I started to try to break it down like each individual play. I'm like, this is taking way too long. So I'm going to try to actually set up on here and kind of stream it. And that's up. We'll see how that works. But to take a closer look at Cam, like, oh man, that guy's just
that'll be legit.
He's so good. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. My matchup, and I think you're probably also going to talk about Pittsburgh, but is again Pittsburgh. The Steelers are phenomenal, slowing down a tad, with not as 100% over the top dominant as they were early in the season, but they're still up there, still kicking ass. They are at 7th overall in adjusted sack rate, but still have the most sacks on the year with 45 sacks. And going up against the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line that you already mentioned, Brad, has lost Jonah Williams at the left tackle. I'm real worried for that offensive line this week going up against Pitt. They're gonna get after him. Number
one.
My
notes for this week is that if they want to get right game, this is it.
Yeah,
this is their get right game going into the playoffs.
Yeah, they need to. They need to tee off, make some statements. The guy I'm playing in my home league though is starting Juju Smith-Schuster and Deontay Johnson so far this week. Kind of a bold move in my mind, but we'll see how it goes, and hopefully maybe they just get ahead real fast, and because it's the Bengals, and then let Benny Snell run it a bunch of times or something.
James Washington.
Yeah. James Washington, Eric Ebron, spread it around. Juju can just go and dance and do his thing, and Deontay can just take another half off, like he did last week, and ruin a lot of other people's chances at the playoffs.
Yeah, that was brutal.
So bad. Yeah, I thought I had Term in one league. Me and Term and Randall Kennedy, we are going up against each other in a lot of leagues, a lot of dynasty leagues in these playoffs. Or we're 1 and 2 and we're on the opposite sides of the bye. But yeah, I thought I had him with that Deontay Johnson just sitting out, and then so I forgot who else he had. Someone else came back and he beat me by like 2 points in one league, and damn, I thought I had it. I'll take
that was
win.
in the club championship. That was Deontay Johnson.
Yes.
Yeah. He was down by like 0.8 points or something.
Yeah, and I was trying to be nice. I was like, "Oh man, that sucks, dude." And I was like, "Oh, please let that happen. Please let me get away with this."
That one's not a money league. It's all about bragging rights.
It's all bragging rights, and I'm the newest member of the Droppable, so I'm going to come in and just sweep it up. But got worked. Oh well.
All right.
So what do you have? Do you have another one for O-line advantage?
No, my one is again it's Pittsburgh this week.
Crushing.
So going back to week 10, their last matchup against the Bengals, Big Ben put up 333 yards and 4 touchdowns. Didn't get sacked once.
Not once.
So
not one time.
Obviously, this is a matchup to exploit for the Steelers pass catchers. So
yes.
I'm sorry, I do feel a little bad for you in your home league.
Hey, if you're going to start Deontay Johnson and Juju Smith-Schuster and Eric Ebron, this might be the week to do it. Even if it hurts me. Pussy. We'll see.
I think this is the week where they get back to Steelers football. It's getting colder. Playoff time starting up. I'm thinking this is the week James Conner finally gets more than 3 yards per carry. I don't know what he's been doing. Marquise Pouncey returned last week, and I'm thinking this is the one where James Conner gets rolling. He had like 13 carries for like 39 yards, 38 yards last time, but again, that was Big Ben just playing schoolyard ball, hucking it all around the field. I think, like I said, this one, get right game for the Steelers going into the playoffs. Get back to Steelers football. I believe it's Stoner that says 3 yards in a cloud of dust football. So 3 yards in a pile of snow football.
Yes,
that's what Steelers ball is. So I'm
Did
thinking
you ever
they get
play?
back.
Did you play in snow for college?
I played in a couple of snow games. One was more ice than snow. I'm from where I played was northern Wisconsin. So there was a couple games that were a bit rough. Tough to get your footing. Put in those 3/4 inch cleats and you roll, but
it's so cold too. And then when you hit that first crack of like, especially a helmet, like in that like freezing cold temperature, it's so bad.
That's the worst part about the cold. It's not anything else. It's your helmet freezing up.
Yeah,
all the
wind,
little pads in there. Yep,
the wind coming in through the ear holes.
Yep,
it's the worst. The worst. Yeah, we played in a game where they only cleared the playing field of snow. That's it. So as soon as you stepped off the sideline, you were stepping, especially into the bench, you were stepping up at least 2 feet to get onto the snowpack. And then on some areas, like closer to the end zone or on the other side, like that's that first 20, 25 where like no one can go, it was just like snow drifts. They just like pushed it up to the side. So just snow drifts. And I remember we like hit the quarterback one time, we went flying into a snow drift. But like it was such a fun game, but like that's all they did. It was just like you went down into the field. But that's North Dakota, so
everything's flat and
everything.
Yeah. My brother played in South Dakota. So
yes. What school?
He went to South Dakota State.
Nice.
Sorry. University of Sioux Falls.
Hey, that's almost even better. That's almost better. Sioux Falls is awesome.
Yeah. So he went there He got to go D2. He's a little bit taller than I am.
Yeah,
so
nice.
lucky.
Yeah,
him.
my school played that school. Minot State. Ask him if you play. Well, I don't know how recently was that.
He graduated a couple years ago, 2017.
They should have been in the same conference, I think.
2018.
NSCIC or something.
Dude, I have no idea.
That might be a different. I don't know. Anyway, we're like getting totally off. Anyway, who's your favorite matchup for this week?
So I kind of touched on this one a little bit before. It's part of that Cleveland Giants game. My favorite matchup is both the guards for Cleveland, Joel Bitonio and Wyatt Teller, going against Leonard Williams again. Leonard Williams has 8.5 sacks this year. He's kind of had a coming out this year. A lot of Giants fans did not like the trade and then giving him that money. Now I'm sure they want to do an extension with him, because he's had a big career resurgence. But Joel Bitonio and Wyatt Teller are having career years themselves, so that's one that I'm keeping my eye on. Again, I still think that's Cleveland's advantage, but that's going to be a big boy matchup in the trenches this week.
Oh yeah.
What about you? Who you got? Simone's
my favorite matchup this week is going to happen tomorrow on Thursday Night Football. The Las Vegas Raiders against the Los Angeles Chargers of San Diego. And my favorite matchup is Joey Bosa versus Colton Miller or Trent Brown. Either way. But that Colton Miller-Joey Bosa matchup, I'm very excited to see. Colton Miller is awesome. This will be a great test for him. Joey Bosa is amazing. He was in my pick for first team All-Pro defense this year, and he's been killing it. So I think that's a great matchup to see him test the kid. I mean, both young guys, so they're really testing each other. But two young guys that have really come on, and they're really being pretty big names in the league pretty early. So yeah, that's what I got.
Colton Miller, he struggled quite a bit his first couple of seasons, but last season his clips against Joey Bosa are what gave me a little bit of confidence, because he actually played pretty well in their matchups last year. He was still learning, still getting his feet wet, but there was a couple of plays where it actually gave me a lot of confidence in them, which I think it led me to rank them top 5 at the beginning of the year, partially because of them returning all 5 starters, but it was mainly because of my confidence in his growth as a player. Yeah. So, I mean, he's put it together this year a lot.
Yeah,
a lot better than what he was.
The first year people were really upset that he was a first round pick, but he's really proven his worth. And I think last year, I saw too that he gave up like 16 sacks. I think it was last year. I don't know if it was a quick Google and I just kind of came across that. I don't know if that's accurate.
I think it was 13 his first year and 7 his second year. I could be wrong.
Not good. Either way, not good. But yeah, doing a lot better this year. And I think they're ranked your 5th overall offensive line. And that's Brad Wire's exclusive offensive line rankings that you can find only at theundroppables.com. Well, Brad, I think that does it for week 15. Unless there's anything else you want to add.
Last week I did call out that James Robinson would get bottled up without Brandon Linder. So, aside from his 47-yard carry, he had, I think, 11 carries for 20 yards.
Yep.
He still had a pretty good day. He had a few big plays called back, but, that's what we're here for.
Right.
Like, normally you want to start James Robinson with confidence, but he scored, 12 points last week?
Yeah. You're inching by, and you want to maximum points every week, but especially in the playoffs, you want to start a guy with confidence that he's going to go out there and smash for you. And yeah, last minute free nuggets. I would just say, just hit us up on Twitter to make sure that we are helping you set that optimal lineup. Lots of guys that will answer your start-sit questions. Hit us up at the Undroppables. Brad, last minute free nugget.
That was it.
That was it. Bradwire on Twitter at BradwireFF. I'm Tommy Moe. You can find me on Twitter at 211FFB. And besides Twitter, where you can find the majority of all of our content, go out there on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, pretty much everywhere else. We're trying to dominate the world. On Discord every
Sunday morning.
Fantasy football chat with Fantasy Space Ghost runs that, and the Droppables are up on there. What's the name of that show? Under the Wire.
Under the Wire. Yep.
Under the Wire on the Discord channel. Get on there.
Andrew Mackins and J-Man FF.
Yeah, man. They run a good show. Yeah. So go out there and those starts and questions. If you're on Discord, add that channel. It's a must. It's a great fantasy football channel. And wherever you're listening to this podcast, we appreciate the subscribe. We appreciate the rate and review. That helps other people find us. Go out there, whatever platform you're listening to this podcast on, and just search the Undroppables, and you'll find the 2-on-1 Fantasy Sports, undrafted, unscripted, and unmatched. The Undroppables podcast network, including Unsung Heroes, brought to you by 2-on-1 Fantasy Sports. And we're happy to help you. And let's get it. Let's get to that finals. Let's get to week 16. And that's it for us this week.
That's it.
Peace out, brother.
Peace out.
Have a good one, guys. Until next time.